Hello class, welcome to lesson 4.1, which is all about graphing equations in slope-intercept form. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to write and graph linear equations in slope-intercept form, and you should be able to model real-world data with equations in slope-intercept form. So, something for you to memorize if you have not done so already, our slope-intercept form equation, y equals mx plus b. It's very important that you have that memorized. So let's start by looking at example 1. We want to write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. So, quick review. What is slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we want to write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form with the given slope and y-intercept. Then graph the equation. If we look at letter A, we have slope equals negative 1/2. And our y-intercept is 3. Okay, so let's talk about our slope-intercept form. We have y equals m. Remember, m stands for slope. X plus b. b is our y-intercept. Okay? b is our y-intercept. So if we take that knowledge and write our equation, we are going to say y equals, in this first example, we have a slope of negative 1/2, so I'm going to do negative 1/2 x, and then y-intercept of 3. So I just have to write negative 1/2 x plus 3. And that's my equation. That's all I have to do. Then I need to graph it. So if we have a y-intercept of 3, that means I go up on the y-axis 3, and I put a dot there. And from there, I can use my slope to graph. Remember, slope is rise over run. So I have a negative 1/2. So I'm going to treat that 1 as my negative. And I'm going to go down 1, and then I go to the right, or the positive direction, 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. If I wanted to go the other way, I could do up 1, left 2, because remember, left is negative on the x-axis, and then I just have to connect my dots, and there's my graph. Okay, let's look at part B. We have a slope of negative 3 and a y-intercept of negative 8. So again, I do y equals, and then my m is negative 3x, then I have plus a negative 8, so I can do just minus 8 instead. So now, in order to graph that, I have a negative 8 y-intercept, so I go down to negative 8, and I put a dot on the y-intercept, and then I have a slope of negative 3. So I can either, remember, when you have a whole number, it's like it's over 1. So I go up 3, left 1, up 3, left 1, or I can go down 3, right 1. And then I just have to connect my dots, and there is the graph for part B. Okay, go ahead and change, or not change, but write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line whose slope is 4 and y-intercept of 3. Hopefully you said the equation was y equals 4x plus 3. If not, be sure to double check your work to see what happened. All right, example 2, we want to graph 3x minus 4y equals 12. So here we're going to take it from our standard form. We are going to rewrite it in slope-intercept form because that's what we're practicing right now. So if I have 3x minus 4y equals 12, I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I'm left with negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. Then I can divide everything by a negative 4. And I'm left with, I'm going to write it down below a little bit. I have y equals negative 3 divided by 4 becomes a positive 3/4 x, because this is a negative divided by negative. And I want to leave my slope as a fraction. And then I have a positive 12 divided by negative 4. So positive 12 divided by negative 4 is going to be minus 3. So that's my equation. don't forget to divide everything by that number. It's really easy to say it's y equals 3/4 x plus 12, but that's not correct. So now, if I look, my graph, my y-intercept is a -3. So I go to -3. Then I have a positive slope of 3/4. So up 3, run 4. Up 3, run 4. So then I have to connect my dots, and there's my graph. Okay, let's practice writing it in slope-intercept form again. So we have a -2x plus 5y equals 10. If I add 2x to both sides, I have 5y equals 2x plus 10. Again, I'm going to divide by 5. So y equals 2/5 x, and then 10 divided by 5. I need to remember to divide everything by 5, is plus 2. So now I look, where's my y-intercept? It's at 2, and then my slope is up 2 over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just have to connect my dots, and there is my graph. Alright, go ahead and look to see if you can figure out which graph is correct for this one. Hopefully you determined that graph D was correct in this instance. Alright, example 3. We want to practice graphing y equals 5 and 2y equals 1. So I want to look, graph y equals 5. We've talked about this a little bit in class. What do you do when there's no x? Well, first let's find, where does y equal 5? 3, 4, be right here. Y equals 5 here, x equals 0. If I go over here, y still equals 5, x equals 3, but there's no x in my equation, so I don't really care what my x equals. I just care that my y equals 5. So I notice a trend here though. My y value is always 5 right here. So I draw a horizontal line. When you have a y equals something, it's a horizontal line. So with that in mind, graph 2y equals 1. We'd say y equals, if I divide both sides by 2, I get y equals 1/2. So I look, where does y equal 1/2? Everywhere along here. Do my best to try to draw a line. There we go. So that's where y equals 1/2. What if I had given you an x equals 3? When you have an x equals a number, you find your x value of 3, and it's anywhere. Doesn't matter what your y value is. Your x equals 3 is going to be a vertical line. So x equals a number, that is going to be vertical. Okay, that's your undefined slope. Go ahead and graph 5y equals 10 and see what you end up with. Hopefully you said letter A was the correct graph. If not, be sure to ask for some help. Alright, example 4. We have a graph here and we want to find an equation in slope-intercept form for this line. Okay, so you can see we're given one point here, but we're not told any others. So I want to look for wherever my graph crosses the grid marks. If I look, it looks like right here is another place. So that would be 1, -1. Okay, and I can say y equals mx plus b, and I know y equals, I don't know what my m is yet, but I know my y-intercept is at -3, so I can do y equals mx minus 3. Then I just have to figure out what is my slope. Well, I can count. I can say I have to go up 2 over 1. So up 2 is positive 2. Right on the number line is a positive 1. So that's 2 over 1, or just a slope of 2. So then I can plug that in, and I get y equals 2x minus 3 as my final answer. Go ahead and try the next one on your own. Hopefully you decided that the equation is y equals negative 3x plus 1. If you have questions, be sure to ask. Alright, let's take a look at example 5. The Band Boosters are selling sandwiches for $5 each. They bought $1,160 in ingredients. Write an equation for the profit P made on N sandwiches. Okay, so profit P made on N sandwiches. So I'm going to say P equals, okay, profit is how much money did we make. Okay, so if I sold sandwiches for $5 each, if I sold one sandwich, that means I made $5. If I sold 4 sandwiches, I made $20. So I'm doing 5, the price of each sandwich, times the number of sandwiches I'm selling. And then I have this bit of information here. They bought $1,160 in ingredients. So if I spent that money, is that still part of my profit? Am I making that money? No. So instead of adding $1,160 on, I have to subtract it, because that's how much money I had to spend in order to start this. Now I can use that equation to find the total profit if 1,400 sandwiches were sold. So I say the profit equals 5 times 1,400 minus 1,060. And if I combine those, I end up with a profit of $5,400. Okay, if you have questions on that, please be sure to ask. Go ahead and try this next example on your own, see how you do. Hopefully you decided that the equation is D equals 0.15n plus 3. And then go ahead and try the last one on your own. Hopefully you got 4.95 million as an answer. If you have any questions on anything from the lesson today, please be sure to ask for help, whether it's me or friends, and have a wonderful day.